Yes, once again, this segment Forex Uganda. So let's look at the double areas of liquidity chart examples. I'm going to show you like 5 to 7 examples and observe critically and maybe also do practice from what you're going to learn. Then later we shall look at the things that you should consider when you're trying to look at this after looking at the chart examples and what you shouldn't consider before we go for the last scenario theory reversal, because there are only three reversal scenarios that happen in the market most of the time. Once you see them, just take advantage. If you don't see them, leave the chart, continue. Because this is mainly to focus on the pullbacks. How do I know that my pullback is going to go in the intended direction of either a strong zone or a weak zone? So let's go into the chart examples. Yes, let's look at the first example, BTC USD. So our number one rule is to look for the nearest supply zone or the nearest lower low, lower high since it is selling. So you can see that price here had here the recent lower low, lower high, lower low. So what do we see? We can see we have a bullish candle which represents that, okay, this candle closed a bullish reversal candle as we can see. Then it has a long wick, then have a bullish candle coming in. So it means now we expect the pullback to come back to the nearest key level. So we don't mind whether this level is going to hold, but this is like our target place because we know how to confirm. Since already we've learned on how to confirm that this level is going to hold or not. So now we know that price is taking that pullback to get that key place. So now we can just switch to the time frame nearby, which is 4 hour. Now when you go to 4 hour, we have to look for those double areas of liquidity. Which ones do we have? So we can see we have this nearest one here. We have this first one, which we call the lower low, lower high. Then we have another lower low, lower high. So we need to wait for price to take out at least two of those, such that we can go back to our pullback. Let's go back to the daily time frame to first mark our target place before we deciding to go into this. So we know this is our target. So we want to capture that pullback. So we just go to 4 hour. Remember, we don't mind whether it's going to hold or not, because that's like our target area. So we can wait for price to take out this high and this higher high. So then later we notice that price was able to take out these two double areas of liquidity. So this is our demand zone or our V2V that we need to focus on. So now we know that that's our area. So we can just go to 1 hour to look for liquidation areas that we need to see. So when you observe in 1 hour, you can see that price last shifted from here, and we can see this is our low, and this is our low, lower high. So this is the origin of the trend of this push. So this is why we are going to place our orders for price to be able to reverse from there. So then we can take that long position here. Then we can target the origin of that pullback that is coming in. So as we wait for price to come in so fast in that place, it's taking time. So price was able to activate, and finally we can see how that trade was able to run into our direction with ease. So that's how that BTC trade was taken. So that later liquidation was done. Just like that, liquidation was done. You see that? So let's look at another example. So let's look at gold, another example. So let's look at gold, another example in the 4 hour. So you can see that the 4 hour has here an area of liquidity that's nearby here. So I remember this is already the extreme point of price. So we need to go to the H1 and look for the double areas of liquidity. It's the time frame that is close to that. Remember, we are looking at pullbacks on how to get pullbacks. So we can see we have this is as our first zone, as you can see it there. Then we can also have the second zone that is more visible here. You have that first one, and then you have this other second one. Or we have another two V2Vs or two areas of liquidity. These are high, high, higher, low, higher, high, higher, low, higher, high. So you can see we have mainly two of them. So we need to look for that H1. So we can see that we have here this H1 inside formation. Let's move it a bit. Now you can see price was able to come and take out this low that you can see here, this low, and also this other low. So remember, these are double areas of liquidity. They could be valid or not valid, but as long as price takes them out, that means, okay, now we need to look for the next reversal point. Remember, it's an extreme point made by price. So instead, we have here two inside formations for 1 hour. So we know how to confirm which is valid because this is one that was valid. It had all the properties to make price hold. Since you know how to find out how to know the key levels are going to hold. So then later, we had to take shots from here. So such trades will always give you a 1 to 10. So you see how powerful it is. You're going to see. So you can see that 4 hour created here lower low, lower high. So this is already a supply zone, which is a lower low, lower high. So we go to the time frame low. Just do for my list 5 examples. You'll notice them because these guys happen every time. So what do we see? You can see that we have here 1 hour lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So we have here two areas of liquidity. So we need to see price taking out these two, then we can know that we are going to continue. So we can play this until now. We can see that price took out this first one, even took out the second one. And what do you see? We have this H1 key level that is able to hold. Remember, we have two. We have this first one, we have the second one. So this second one was done that's going to hold because it had the properties from what you know that it's going to hold. So you can see we have here these two H1s. We have this lower high, sorry, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. But remember, we took out this first area, took out also the second area. So we had two. So we know how to get which one is going to hold among these two inside formations. So of course it was this one. So if you do the backup test, you find it's this one that had to hold. So you got 15 minutes, you take your entry at your valid Quasimodo pattern or flip level. So you just go back to your 1 hour and take a trade. So that's how I took that trade for CAD long position. You see that? Sometimes it's not, you may miss trades like such sniper entries from here from her time frame, but you can start taking those trades well knowing that okay, you can get at least a 1 to 10 or a 1 to 5, you know. So let's go for scenario. We shall go for scenario 3, the last one. Then later we can be able to go to some other topic as you can see from the reverse mastery. So do examples, do more chart examples, find out from extreme points, find out from reversal points. This will help you to get trades at any time, at any point. But the most important thing is to know the key level that is going to hold. Sometimes you'll have 4 formations, 5 formations. But since you know how to filter out these key levels to produce the best trades ever, you can't go broke once you find this out. It will make you invisible. Thank you.